This is Badass Billy Gunn, 11-time WWE Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion, Hardcore Champion, and you're listening to IcoPod. You gotta hear this. And if you're not listening to this, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
And we're back with episode 53 of IcoPod. I am the still single Bob Collins Jr., and with me is the newly engaged Austin Skinner. Austin, how's it going? Aside from the engagement, obviously.
Yeah, so I popped the question.
Not to me, which was really devastating. I thought maybe we had developed a connection.
Well, we've already established that we're eternally engaged, Bob.
Oh.
So like beyond forever. Because like with her, it's just forever. With me and you, dude, eternal.
If you were to ever have an affair, that's the line you want to use on the person that you're cheating with.
Why did it work? It worked.
I was smitten.
Okay.
For a second, yeah.
All right. So that was a thing. I did that last weekend, and everything went swimmingly. She did say yes. So fuck
awkward.
all you out there that were ready to make that joke.
That'd be awkward if she said like no.
Well, with the fucking ring I gave her, man, ain't saying no to that.
I'm telling you, if I ever get engaged, I'm gonna go to like Walmart or something and just get like a $4 ring. Call it a day.
Speaking of being a cheap fuck,
yeah,
I was on the old the video pay to get shouted out gimmick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking on there, and first of all, a couple of those websites look pretty fucking sketchy. Because you'll go to one site, a guy will be, say, $40 on one site. Then you go to another, he's on the same site, but on that one, he's on there for like 100. So, like, I don't know how that fucking works. Okay. But I was on there, long story short, looking at Tatanka, because I know.
Oh my God.
He is your fucking man, right?
Yeah, he's my boy.
And he was on there for roughly, I believe the price was $25. So, as I move in my chair here, I got to thinking about it, and it was like, oh, well, do I really want to spend $25 on Tatanka? And then I was like, what did I just have for dinner tonight? Well, I bought a $22 stuffed crust pizza. So realistically,
you spent $22 on a stuffed crust pizza?
A stuffed crust pepperoni pizza. Yes.
From where?
Pizza Hut.
And that cost you $22?
Oh, I left a tip.
So that's $22 including tip?
Yes.
Okay.
So realistically, Tatanka's worth a dinner at Pizza Hut.
That's fucked up, man.
So just keep that in the back of your mind.
Wow. So did you do it or no?
No, because that's the website that I'm a little sketched out about.
Okay.
It's the only website where he's on there, though.
Yeah. I mean, I know what one you're talking about, because even when you were here and we were looking at guys, he was one of them on that website.
Yeah. And it's funny because every video it looks like that he does.
He's like at a pool or something.
He's standing way far away from the camera.
Yeah.
So somebody's like standing there recording him with like their phone. So the quality is probably ass. No wonder why it's fucking $25.
Right, for Pizza Hut.
Yeah. So he actually has a Twitter. It's not verified, but I assume it's him. And he's promoted that site before, so I don't know. I'm sketched, but it might be legit. I don't know.
Well, because I what, Billy Gunn. I think he was like 40 or something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
But he was
I think
great.
so.
He was great.
Oh,
And
it's perfect. Yeah.
I have no shame with acquiring people to do the opener in that manner. I don't care.
Well, speaking of which, Cornette, Mr. Jim Cornette, just decided to join the video shout out world. So maybe we can get him to
Oh man, Jim Cornette, that would be a good one.
jump in here. Let him shit talk the show and then plug it.
You're fucking listening to this Ico Pop bullshit. You gotta listen to the Jim Cornette Experience.
Exactly.
You guys probably like that Joey Ryan dick flipping thing and those super kicking young bucks. Well, let me tell you, they suck. Bobby Eaton is the greatest wrestler.
Oh,
Time. Arn Anderson under a sheet was the greatest angle in professional wrestling. You put anybody under a sheet, they're over immediately.
They come out of the box. Yeah.
They're over. Terry Funk.
Shit.
Jesus fucking Christ, horseshit. I hate Republicans. All right, anyway.
So he's an option. We'll see.
That'd be cool. I mean, I like Jim Cornette. So
we'll see what happens.
Smoky Mountain for life, brother.
Yeah.
Mike Campbell's on my side on that one. He'll never tell that to you, but Mike Campbell's on my side.
Well, he's lucky he ain't blocked yet with Michael Vincent.
Well, there was almost a time there when, because I think Mike Campbell sends you a friend request and you're just like, fuck you.
Yeah, but he's not blocked. He just got denied. I'm over too big, okay? I'm big shot.
You're too famous.
That's right.
Well, so you've gotten engaged. Obviously, congratulations on that. I am still treading the friendship waters with my lady friend that lives across the street from me, and I don't do anything about it.
Single as a Pringle.
Yeah, I am. It's okay.
What's the update? Give us the Ico Pod update.
I don't know, man. Like, okay. It's a toughie because you don't want to sound weird. And I was just thinking about this before I was getting on there, so I'm going to explain myself.
Okay.
I feel like men, like we can't accept the fact that a good-looking woman may just want to be our friend. Yeah. So we always just have to like overthink it and say to ourselves, "Oh, she probably likes me."
Okay.
Right. So for me, I'm kind of the opposite. Any girl that is nice to me, I never assume
that they're
into me. I just assume, hey, they're being friendly. But something about the situation is making me feel like there's like a sliver of a chance. Like, I don't know. And they always say, trust your gut. And
yeah, I mean, that's true.
My gut's been wrong many a times. And so, yeah, that's why I can't like really do this. So here in Syracuse, it's like negative 20 degrees outside.
Okay.
And I walked home last night, fucking freezing my ass off. Eventually, my legs went numb enough where it's like you can't even feel the cold because they're numb.
Nice.
So it's like, hey, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I get home. I'm drinking a hot chocolate. And she messaged me and she goes, hey, did you go home safely? At like 11:10 or something like that. Or 11:20 or something like that.
Okay.
So obviously the thing is here, she's just being nice. Right? She's just caring. She's a good friend.
Maybe, yeah.
You know?
Okay.
But like, no, that doesn't even. I've had girlfriends in the same weather climate. I've had girlfriends who don't ask me, did I get home okay when it was negative 20 degrees outside? Maybe I've just had bad girlfriends.
I don't know, dude. It's weird because I feel like, all right, nice girl aside, right? Nice girl aside, most girls don't really give a shit, especially if they're in a relationship.
Right.
So I don't know.
I think she's just being nice. So I'm just going with the approach of I'm friends with her. Like she's a friend. And I'm not going to do anything. Which will then make me miss my shot and then actually just be stuck being friends with her. But that's better than nothing, I guess.
Well, and we did confirm, correct, that she is in fact involved with the gentleman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for sure a thing. But like, I don't want to go too much into Bob's love life to start IcoPod every time or every 2 episodes. But no, because I feel again, I might be just overthinking this shit. The other day, I went up to get something to eat at where she works. As I just got a message here on Tinder. So
oh, God.
I'm a sly motherfucker.
Yo, bro.
Yo, bro. Okay, so so I was up there and she made it. She was talking to coworkers or whatever, but I was there and there had been dialogue. So she knew I was there. And she was like, "Oh, I've had a really rough day. Like I've cried twice or something." Right.
Oh, shit.
And so when she said that, though, I was like scrolling through my phone.
Okay.
And I heard her say that. So I lifted up my head and she was like looking right at me, making me think as if she was saying that, wondering if I would show interest to see what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. And then she like immediately looked away. And then like continued the conversation or whatever.
So she's waiting for your reaction. Bob. Have you disappeared on me already?
It's a sign I shouldn't be talking about it.
What the fuck?
I knew it. As soon as it happened, I was like, this is a sign from God. Like, shut your fucking mouth.
Oh my God.
In case if anybody's wondering, I'll keep it in. That was actually a quick recovery too. That my Google Hangouts crashed again. So
what the fuck?
yeah, that was just great. I really think it's the weather. It has to be the weather as to why this shit keeps on happening. So
What, that your computer crashes?
my internet.
Oh, it went out.
No, but like that one, that was the Hangouts. But like when my internet has been crashing lately.
Oh yeah. Yeah, probably.
But yeah, so what was I was talking about this broad that I have no chance in hell with, right?
Yeah, you were kind of putting across a little bit of a reach there with the sign of you giving her acknowledgement after her being
That's
upset.
that's what it felt like. I know it sounds insane.
Yeah, a little.
That's what it that's what it seemed like. But
well, you just gotta slip it in and hope for the best.
oh, I'm not gonna have sex with her, Austin.
Listen, who's the one who's engaged and who's the one that's single, motherfucker?
Right. Well, we have yet to ask the girl in your situation if she's happy about it. She might be the one that's stuck.
Well, let me pull her body out of the closet and you can ask her.
Perfect. Terrific.
On that note, how about Raw?
Well, yeah. So observer note. No, but this is what I'm going to do. Okay, I figured it out. I'm going to sometime soon be like, listen, lady, my phone is on like 14%. It's just better off if I have your phone number. That way it doesn't kill my battery.
Okay.
Boom.
What's the matter with that?
That's what I'm going to do. That way I have a quicker way of communicating.
Bob, you should have done that fucking 2 weeks ago.
No, man.
You're frustrated.
I'm a coward. It's fine.
Or just be like, hey, give me your fucking number.
No, I can't do that. I can't do it.
Whatever.
I'm just gonna die alone. It's all right.
On that note, how about Raw?
Yeah, let's just get into it. Why not? I have just one observer note. It's the December 20th Raw got a 3.0.
Wow.
I don't even. What was on that show? Do we even know? I don't even
Wasn't
remember.
it Wicked pre-taped? Or was that the week before?
Oh yeah, was it? I think it was. It was 12/13 was Savage Fatu.
Okay.
And then 12/20 I think wasn't that like Jarrett's debut?
Oh yes, it was.
Yeah, that was just last week. So yeah, that would have been. Jeff Jarrett's a
Interesting.
rating. He's a rating guy.
Oh yeah, he pops it for sure.
No question. House shows. I got 2 of them. They both took place on December 26th. So maybe we got tickets in our stocking.
Oh.
Saginaw, Michigan, Civic Center. It drew 2,100.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a dream match right off the start here. Bastion Booger taking on Virgil. Doink the Clown taking on Bam Bam Bigelow. Jeff Jarrett met Marty Jannetty. Lex Luger battled Ludwig Borga in a flag match. The Head Shrinkers squared off against Men on a Mission. And the main event was Tatanka taking on Diesel.
Fuck no. Next.
Yeah, I don't know if I would. I just want to point out. I want to point out though on these results here that Tatanka defeated Diesel.
Wow, in the main event.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is surprising.
Well, I feel like all of 93, they've either been hot or cold with Tatanka. Either they kind of use him or they really use him. It's never like it's been back and forth.
Well, they started off strong.
Started off strong, then he dipped, then he kind of made kind of a strong comeback, and then Borga was fucking, he beat him. Now,
I think the Borga feud has really hurt him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Especially to have Borga beat him. I mean, it makes Borga, but.
What did he do? He hit him with a chair over the back and that killed him?
Yeah, and then he pinned him with the one finger.
With the one finger, yeah.
And it was like on a syndication show.
Yeah, Superstars, yeah.
Like, what in the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
So, I don't know. I feel like they're too wishy-washy with Tatanka at this point.
I'm just surprised that Luger wasn't in the main event with Borga.
Yeah. Exactly. I agree. You can tell my my excitement for that flag match there as I fucking yawn.
Yeah, that's just bad. Let's go to Toronto, Ontario, at the Maple Leaf Gardens. This one drew 7,000 fans.
Wow.
Smoking Guns took on the Red and Black Knights. Owen Hart met Adam Bomb. IRS squared off against 1-2-3 Kid in a rematch from 1993 SummerSlam.
Huh.
Crush squared off against Randy Savage in a best 2 out of 3 falls count anywhere match.
Holy shit.
WWF Tag Team Champions, the Quebecers, defended against the Steiner Brothers. WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon defended against Shawn Michaels. And the main event was WWF World Champion Yokozuna defending against The Undertaker.
Wow. Sounds like WrestleMania.
I was going to say, that sounds like a Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
Holy shit.
Like an undercard for it or something.
Yeah, that card's really good. I'm buying my ass a ticket for sure.
That explains the 7,000 fans.
Yeah. Some of those matches are like A caliber. Like you ain't even seeing them on Raw.
Yeah.
Let alone a house show.
I mean, the only stinker really is the Smoking Guns against the Red and Black Knights.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised they're even booking them as the Red and Black Knights still at this point.
Yeah.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me. Yeah, well, I would for sure go to Toronto.
And Savage and Crush, 2 out of 3 falls count anywhere? Holy shit.
That's probably a wild brawl.
Yeah, that's
for the
probably
time,
exactly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right. Well, syndication, there's one little piece of noteworthy news, kind of substantial and pretty big. On the December 25th edition of WWF Superstars, it was revealed that Bret and Owen Hart had patched up their differences, and they would now be getting a tag team title match against the Quebecers at the 1994 Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
Bizarre.
Maybe they met up Christmas Eve.
Shared a little eggnog.
Yeah. And they were just like, hey, sorry, bro. And he was probably like, it's all right, bro. And then Virgil came in, yo, bros, you guys should just team up, bros.
I just don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Yeah, I don't know why Owen, who was all gung-ho about
Fighting Brett.
being on his own, proving himself, then comes in, 2 weeks later, a week later.
And it's like, we're good.
Yeah, let's go for tag belts. What?
I don't buy it, and I don't know if the casual fan at the time would have bought it either.
I don't even know if your diehard fan would buy it. I don't think anybody would buy into Owen Hart patching things up with Brett
So quickly. He's like flipping the script. I don't know about all that.
Well,
I ain't buying it, buddy.
It's easily the strongest opponents for the Quebecers.
For sure.
To this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
I mean, it's better
For
than
sure.
1, 2, 3 Kid and Barry Horowitz or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
I would agree with that, but at the same time, I expect some fuckery to occur.
I kicked your leg out of your leg. Spoilers. Okay.
What the fuck, man?
WWF RAW, Monday Night Raw, December 27th, 1993. We are taped from Poughkeepsie, New York.
Boo.
Footage from last week's episode highlighting the rematch between Tatanka and Ludwig Borga is shown. Yokozuna came out alongside Mr. Fuji, and they got involved in costing Tatanka the match and from getting his revenge. Fuji, I think, used his flag and stuff like that. Distraction by Yokozuna. You can basically just listen to our previous episode to learn exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Lex Luger came out and he made the save, and he delivered a worse-looking scoop slam compared to the Intrepid one on Yokozuna, and the crowd went mild. We go to the Raw opening video and to the arena. Vince McMahon is on commentary this week with both Pierre and Jacques, the tag team champions of the Quebecers. They promote the match between Marty Jannetty and Johnny Polo taking place this week. Polo is going to prove that he's the best wrestler in the WWF according to Jacques. Lex Luger will be in action, and then Pierre speaks in French before speaking in English and threatening Luger, saying they're going to take him out, stuff like that. So what did you think of the opening sequence here before we get to the first match?
I was like, fuck. Because obviously this is going to be a Quebecers heavy show. That's what I took away from it. The building that they were in for some reason looked different. This Poughkeepsie building, the ceiling looked really, really low. And I don't know if maybe they're just testing out a different way to shoot this arena or what's going on, but it looked smaller for some reason. With that said, the champs tonight are on commentary. I wasn't looking forward to it. They're putting over Johnny Polo's match with Marty, and Jacques calls Polo not only the greatest manager, but he'll prove that he's the best wrestler in the WWF too. So, I don't know. It just left me with a bad taste in my mouth. I really wasn't looking forward to hearing the Quebecers the rest of the night.
Well, I like the Quebecers. I don't like Johnny Polo, so I'm kind of a mix here.
Yeah.
For enjoyment or anything. So, and I don't think having both of them on there is a great move. It should have probably just been Jacques. Jacques is a talker. It would have been fine.
Yeah.
We go to our first match. It's Lex Luger taking on Barry Horowitz. It's Jacques reveals on commentary during the match here that he'll be wrestling Lex Luger on WWF Superstars this coming weekend. Luger nearly wins with a roll-up early on, and then Horowitz gets control with several strikes. It's again also announced that Brett and Owen will be challenging the WWF Tag Team Champions at the Royal Rumble. The match has mostly been dominated by Barry Horowitz.
I was just going to say there was one point in this match, Bob, where Lex got uppercutted into 90-94 and was kind of looking like a joke.
Yeah.
So he uppercutted the shit out of Lex, and Lex was getting his ass handed to him. And I'm just looking like, this is runner-up Superstar of the Year 1993, and he's getting his ass whooped.
I mean, literally. Luger gets pretty much no offense. And I even, when I wrote that sentence as being dominated by Horowitz, I'm like, that's a weird sentence to type.
I was so confused.
It has to be some kind of joke.
I
don't understand.
I don't know.
I don't know how this type of stuff benefits Luger if you're trying to get him over the fans. Fans would be like, well, yeah, you can beat Yokozuna. He just had a 12-minute classic with Barry Horowitz.
Oh man.
But of course, Luger, gets a second wind here and powers through. He hits a clothesline and a power slam before finishing Horowitz off with a superplex. This cannot be an ideal way to present Luger as your top babyface, struggling with a guy like Barry Horowitz. I understand they want to make maybe matches more competitive, but now probably Lex Luger.
Or fucking Barry Horowitz.
Yeah.
Horrible mismatch. Bad cast of characters there. And I think one of the only good parts of Jacques actually had a good little nugget in here. During the match, he asked Vince, why does Lex wear all that oil on his body?
Oh, yeah.
And Vince just goes, oh, it's an in-ring advantage. When he's in holds, he might be able to slip out easier. And that was the most bullshit excuse that I could think of. Because he's doing it because he's fucking jacked. Not to slip out of fucking holds.
No.
So
they do that. They do that for the shine.
Exactly. It's all part of the show.
Yeah, wasn't it? Who was it? Mick Foley, I think he would make fun of Test.
Oh, I don't know.
It was either Test or Val Venus with their usage of baby oil.
Yeah,
and I think it was Test, and he said "Oh, it makes me look good."
Yeah,
and then Mick Foley was like, "There's probably other things you could do to make yourself look good in the ring, like knowing how to work." Or something like that.
Yeah. So there you go. That was a nice little tidbit in there. So as Bob mentions, Lex gets the superplex for the 3 count. Jacques says, "Oh, that won't happen to me. Not this weekend on Superstars." And I couldn't help but to think, what a shit showing for Luger. Oh, there's your American original. He gets his ass beat the whole match, beats the guy with a superplex, and then one half of the tag team champions is yeah, I'm gonna beat him on Superstars. So it's that was 3 strikes, you're out, buddy.
Yeah, there's no fear. Could you imagine a guy like Hulk Hogan having this kind of difficulty with Barry Horowitz?
No. Bret Hart? No.
Bret, maybe. I could see Bret. Bret has always been an underdog type of guy. Because even with Brooklyn Brawler,
I don't think he would have gave him that much offense.
No, not this much. Yeah.
Lex didn't do anything.
This might have been an example where the agents went to Luger and they're like, "Hey, Luger, it's 90-10. You're going over." So he's thinking, all right, I got to give Barry 90. I'll take the 10 and I'll go over. And he goes to the back and they're like, "Luger, we said 90-10. He's like,
what the fuck?
No, you the 90. He's the, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, oh shit.
No, that's all right, brother. We got the finish.
Yeah, that explains. I mean, at least I went over. Could you imagine if he fucked it up and Barry Horowitz, he shoot pinned him or something?
That's
Jesus.
it.
That would have been great. Well, despite Lex Luger struggling to understand percentages and how he should be pushed, you can still call the WWF and let them know that Luger should be in the Rumble by calling. That was a weird way of saying that.
By Bob Colling Jr.
By calling the hotline number. Now, before I believe we called that on the air, and it doesn't exist anymore. So you can't call them now and let them know.
Yeah, I'm pissed.
We'll just have to hope in a couple of weeks that he's actually in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Footage from October 25th, 1993 is shown where Johnny Polo got involved in a match between Marty Jannetty and the 1-2-3 Kid. Polo shoved Jannetty into the ring post, and the Kid missed a somersault dive to the floor, leading to a double count out, and then Polo taking credit for, "Hey, I beat both of you, just like I said I would." It was a creative finish at the time. I mean, but now we're going back to it 2 months later.
I was just going to say, who gives a fuck about October 25th?
Yeah. And at least in regards to Johnny Polo, Jannetty, and 1-2-3 Kid.
In regards to January 1994.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me, man? You're a day late and $1 short, motherfucker.
Yeah, you're right. We go backstage where Johnny Polo was there, and he cuts a promo about his match with Jannetty, which is coming up next. Polo knows that he can beat both Jannetty and Kid, and he proved it. And he's calling Jannetty throughout this confetti.
Well, and then he calls McMahon McMoron.
Right. Yeah. So. McMahon at one point here misspeaks and calls Polo Hobo.
Thank you very much, Johnny Hobo.
Johnny Hobo. I mean Polo. So that happened.
Yeah.
We got an Ico Pro ad with Razor Ramon. It's one of the newer ones where it's just focusing him working out. No words are said.
Mm-hmm.
Leading us to our second match of the evening. This is again Marty Jannetty taking on Johnny Polo. I feel like I've been saying that an unhealthy amount of times in the last couple of weeks here.
Oh, yeah.
Jannetty and Polo and Jannetty.
Yeah.
All right. Polo takes Jannetty down with a snap arm drag early on. He taunts the crowd. He does that a couple of times. Jannetty slingshots Polo into the ring, followed by an atomic drop and a back suplex for a 2 count. Jannetty almost wins with a roll-up and then keeps arm control. Polo sends Jannetty over the top of the floor. Polo dives over the top to take Jannetty out with a dive. And then Marty almost wins with a slingshot crossbody from the apron into the ring. They run the ropes and collide on a crossbody attempt. Jannetty hits a spinning back elbow and a facebuster. Marty shoves Polo off the middle rope and nearly wins with another top rope crossbody. And he nearly wins with a roll-up as well. Polo stops Jannetty with a boot, but then gets drop kicked to the floor by Jannetty. Pierre goes over to Polo to help him out. Then Marty baseball slides both of them. Pierre trips Jannetty from the floor, and Polo gets met with a super kick. Marty goes to the top, but Polo gets pulled to the floor by Pierre. Jannetty dives onto Pierre to take him out outside the ring. Jannetty tries for a sunset flip, but Polo is able to sit down, and then he uses Pierre for extra leverage for the win. I mean, I didn't really think it was that bad. I was expecting much worse, to be honest with you. I certainly don't like the decision to have Jannetty lose to Polo, even if it's not clean. I did not like that.
Yeah, I have a couple takeaways here. First of all, to kind of rewind it all the way back to the beginning, let me paint the picture for you. So Marty comes out, he gets a decent reaction, but really this whole appearance this week from Marty, it seems like he's kind of phoning it in. Doesn't really seem like...
For Marty?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it doesn't really seem like he's too much into it. So Polo comes out, and he is in a god-awful singlet top, white cargo pants tucked into like shiny black boots. And the top, Bob, the only thing that I could think of for that, it looked like an arcade carpet pattern.
Oh my God, that's a really...
Like, it was horrible.
That's a good comparison. And it's funny you mentioned that because I think the top is kind of something he wore as Flamingo.
Yeah.
In WCW. I think it's the same gear. Because he was wearing, like, was it cargo pants or something?
Yeah, it was like
shorts?
the white cargo pants that were tucked into the boots.
Yeah, so I think the singlet or whatever you want to call it, the top, is something that he had wore as Flamingo.
Yeah, it was hideous looking. With that said, I didn't have too much notes on the match. I mean, it was pretty run of the mill, although I did want to note that for Polo, I thought that this was a better showing than Jeff Jarrett's first match last week.
You know what, that's a fair statement.
Which surprised the hell out of me, because if you were to ask me without seeing either match, I would have said, yeah, there's no way. I'm sure Jeff Jarrett had a better match. And I'm sure you got to credit that to Marty a little bit for making it work. But yeah, that was one of my big takeaways. Like, shit, Polo's not horrendous. You know, he can do some stuff. And I think he's definitely not afraid to put his character through, if nothing else.
I was surprised when he like dove to the floor.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. I mean, he was in the lightweight division in WCW, so he does have that style. Right. But it was still pretty surprising to see him do it.
Especially as this character, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that was pretty interesting. Could have been a lot worse. Again, I think Marty was definitely phoning it in here, and I don't blame him. Technically, he just got beat by a manager.
In like a second rate manager.
Yeah.
What a way to end the year. You come back and you start in January, but you get fired. You come back in May, you win the WWF Intercontinental Championship. You're thinking, fuck yeah, man, I'm getting pushed. You lose it after a month. Yeah. Now you're losing to Johnny Paul.
Yeah. Let's talk about another guy who's had a really like seesaw up and down year. Marty Jannetty fits in that category.
Yeah.
Totally.
I see. I like Marty. I do. I like Marty.
We'll get to that. I got some comments about Marty for the end of the year awards at the end of the show.
All right. At this point, we get the same Yokozuna commercial that you absolutely fucking hate.
Dude, literally what I have written down, Yoko Claus again, ... I ain't talking about it. We're skipping it. Skip over it.
Well, we might as well skip over the next match too, but we'll mention it very quickly here. The third match of the evening is Doink the Clown taking on Spike Gray. I wish there was any part of me that could tell you I was interested in Doink the Clown. I just fucking hate it. I'm like Jim Cornette with the whole comedy aspect. If you're a comedy wrestler, it's tough for me to enjoy it. This one's just abysmal, though. Dink punches Gray. He's on the top rope. He punches Gray, and then Gray stumbles back. Doink hits a German suplex, and that's literally the match. That's all that happens.
I got a little bit more than that.
Well, that's what happened to me.
Well, that's in a nutshell, that is what happened. But if we dig a little deeper here, folks, we started things off with Dink giving Doink some gum. The bell rings. Dink then offers Gray some gum. Of course, it shocked him. Dink then kicks the guy in the shin and goes to the apron to like hide away. Dink then punches Gray when he approaches the corner. Doink hits said German suplex and pins the guy. That's the match. And that's the match with the blanks filled in. So, long story short, fuck that.
Royal Rumble report. Todd Pettingill is up next. Todd tries to be funny about Doink and Dink getting each other presents. I didn't write down the joke because I didn't think it was that funny.
Fuck you. That's why.
I was not about to deal with that. Remember, the show takes place on January 22nd, which is a Saturday. He promotes the Royal Rumble match and goes over the rules. The men involved thus far are Bret Hart, Crush, Kamala, Owen Hart, Doink, Mabel, Scott Steiner, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Adam Bomb, Bam Bam Bigelow, Randy Savage, 1-2-3 Kid, Fatu, Samu, which were wrongly shown, by the way.
I was just going to say the pictures are flip-flops. So they show a picture of Samu for Fatu.
Right.
And Samu gets a picture of Fatu for him.
Yeah, it's terrific. Rick Steiner, Bob Backlund, and Greg the Hammer Valentine will be returning. Of course, he was at Survivor Series as one of the nights, but hey, we don't want to mention that here. It's possible that Lex Luger could be involved, but that's kind of dependent on Jack Tunney and if he changes his mind. Again, they plug the hotline number. Todd says that the voting is overwhelmingly in favor of Luger, and the pressure may be getting to Tunney to change the ruling.
Real quick about the graphic, Bob. I noticed at this point when they showed it again that the picture of Luger slowly moves, which was really creepy. Like, I thought it was just a static picture of him posing. It's not. It's like slow motion, like a cutout of him moving.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was not paying attention to that.
No, because every time it popped up, I was like, oh, it's just a picture of him posing. No, it's like a slowed down video cutout of him.
Huh.
Yeah, really weird.
Yeah, really that's bizarre. They also run down a couple of the undercard matches, and it is WWF World Champion Yokozuna defending against The Undertaker in a casket match, and the WWF Tag Team Champions Quebecers defending against Brett and Owen. We get pre-tape comments by Brett and Owen, with Brett saying that everything is under the bridge, and they are coming for the tag titles at the Royal Rumble. Owen says they ironed out all their bugs and they are focused on taking the belts from the Quebecers.
I don't believe it.
I don't know if anybody could possibly sit there and think, "Oh, this is great. Yeah, nothing could go wrong."
There's no way.
It's too abrupt.
Yes.
Too abrupt. We go back to the arena, and Jacques believes that the Hart brothers will not be together too long, and thinks that they will fight each other after they try to one-up each other. Foreshadowing. That is probably the case there.
Yeah, and have you noticed, Bob? Because at this point I was distracted by it. Have you noticed every time the camera goes to the table, Jacques is flexing at the camera every single time, and it's the same thing. It's like he's looking down at his bicep, and then he looks at the camera and does his eyebrows, and he looks.
Yeah.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
It's funny though because he does it every
time.
He doing what Lord Steven Regal would do and kind of uses his hand to pump it up too.
Yes.
He's baby, hey, look what I got.
He is. Yes.
Every time. I did notice that.
Oh shit.
Every single time. We get a little bit of a hype video here for a huge match taking place next week. It's the Smoking Guns squaring off against Bam Bam Bigelow and Bastion Booger. Todd Pettengill is doing the voiceover, and he promotes it as being Beauty and the Beasts next week on Raw. So Todd Pettengill clearly is attracted to Billy and Bart Gunn. And it's the Beauty and Beasts. Go to our fourth match.
Fuck.
Crush against Mike Moraldo. While Crush shows off his strength early on with a press slam, he delivers a strike, and Moraldo, he must have been on a 7-second delay because it takes him a minute to bump on it, but he does. Moraldo runs the ropes, and he gets driven down with a side slam, and then Crush wins the match with the Kona Vice. I don't know about you, but I think ever since Crush has gone heel, he's gotten more boring in his squash matches.
And the crowd couldn't agree more with you, Bob, because one of the big notes I had coming out of this match was the crowd didn't boo, they didn't cheer, they were just indifferent. They didn't care.
Which is kind of surprising because with that angle with Savage, it seemed as if fans were like, "Oh man, fuck this dude." But I wonder if it's maybe he is only attached to Randy and it's not widespread. So he'll be fucked as soon as the Savage thing is over.
Right. And I think that is the case because the fans are clamoring to see Savage so much that it's like he could be working with loaded baked potato and they would be fine with that. But just since it's Crush, there you go. Crush gets a little bit of the rub there. But I think, like you said, I think after that, whether he wins it or loses it, it's going to be stale white bread. We're not going to get much from Crush beyond that, I don't think, whether he's face or heel at this point. I think for him, Savage is the saving grace to give him a little bit more time in the WWF. But I think after that, you might as well pack your fucking gear bag because it's just, I can't imagine that it's going to get any better from there.
Yeah, I had hopes for the heel turn to kind of, give him that extra push there, but it's kind of hit the brakes have been hit.
Yeah, and it started with potential, okay, this might go somewhere. Crush might end up being fine, but the bloom has come off the rose so quickly that now it seems obvious. Like you said, they're interested because Savage is involved, not necessarily because it's Crush. And that spells disaster from the man from Hawaii.
Yeah, that would spell the future endeavor.
Yeah.
For Mr. Crush.
Yeah.
We go to footage of The Undertaker and Paul Bearer at their workshop. Bearer says that Fuji and Cornette have been really naughty, and it's the season to be jolly for The Undertaker. Taker chimes in and says that Yoko will soon be gift-wrapped. And then Taker delivers a very creepy Merry Christmas. Oh. So that happened.
It was the epitome of corniness.
If he's dead, how does he know it's Christmas? I don't understand this.
Did you notice that Paul Bearer rhymed his whole little spiel?
Oh yeah.
I think that was the goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a thing. They talk about Fuji. They talk about Mr. Jim Cornette not being so nice. And like Bob says, they say that it is Undertaker's season to be jolly. Undertaker slowly turns to the camera and, of course, says, soon, Yokozuna, you will be gift wrapped, just like Bob went over. Gives the ho, ho, ho line, and all I had was ho, ho, horrible. Because that doesn't make Undertaker seem intimidating at all.
No, it really does.
I don't get it. It's such mixed signals, dude, because, like, on one hand, this motherfucker's carving a casket by hand. And on the other hand, he's wishing his opponent a Merry Christmas.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get what they're saying here. You enjoy your Christmas because you're going to be dead on January 22nd. But,
yeah, but like,
the whole thing doesn't make any sense. Like, anybody that he's ever feuded with, he always says, Giant Gonzalez, you will rest in peace. Why would you want him to rest in peace? If I'm going to go kill some guy, like if I were to go and kill you, I'm not going to be like, as I'm stabbing you or hitting you with like and wrestling like a tombstone. I'm not going to whisper in your ears. I'm covering you. Rest in peace, bitch. I want you to I hope you die a horrible death.
I think it's insult to injury. Like,
I don't know, man.
Like, yeah, I just killed you, bitch. Rest in peace.
But I'm being nice about it.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I'm only like a half dick, not a whole dick.
Right. I mean, it's awful that I would do that to you, but I also sent a card to your family saying I had to do it.
Well, did you notice that Undertaker put a cute little Christmas wreath on the casket?
It was like a bow.
Like, did he go out of his way to hand make that too? Like, he picks the ornaments. He's like, yes, the red one.
It's like blood that you will spill
in the silver.
It's just
the colors of Saint Nicholas.
God almighty.
So stupid.
Well,
so stupid.
This is some good television though, because they go from him, go for the Undertaker making a casket to Bret Hart sharing some pre-tape comments saying that people should not be having a great time over the holidays. But like they should have, but then not go out and drink and drive, because there's irony. If you do that, you could end up in a casket.
Rest in peace.
So that's like a little nice touch there, I guess.
Yeah, it was a 2-for-1 special.
Yeah, but didn't it seem like Bret was like kind of confused as to what he was saying?
Well, he was cutting a promo.
Yeah, but it seemed as if he was like he got lost for like a second.
Yeah, it didn't seem genuine at all.
No. And yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. It was just a weird. I don't know. I picked up something weird when he was doing that.
I agree. Speaking of weird, really quick too.
Yeah.
Jacques brought up a $5 million lawsuit on commentary. And I was like, oh, fuck. There's no way he's about to talk about that right now. So he brings up this $5 million lawsuit to Vince, and they kind of briefly touch on it, but he ends up talking about in reference to Ed McMahon suing the Star newspaper. Yeah. But that was definitely shade to Vince about the steroid thing. It had to be, because they played it off. They waited to talk about Ed McMahon until like the end of the joke.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty on the nose. And Jacques is the one who brings that up here. Interesting.
Fucking Jacques.
Interesting.
Well, another interesting piece of news here. We see highlights of a match between Alundra Blaze and Heidi Lee Morgan for the vacant WWF Women's Championship.
I got to go through this.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I got to take the reins on this. Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
So, again, as I frequently do, I'm going to paint the picture for you. We cut to Alundra Blaze in front of what looked like hotel curtains. It looked like she's sitting in a hotel room in front of horrible, shitty curtains. and she introduces herself and says her name is Alunda. So she fucks that up immediately. And you could tell with her promo especially, it's beyond scripted. It's as if she's reading it off the prompter. She's got no character involved. It's like line for line. I'm pretty sure I even watched her eyes like reading it off. So very stale, just as stale as the probably cigarette smoke in the hotel room she was sitting in. Cut to Heidi Lee Morgan, who shows 10 times the personality and didn't seem nearly as scripted. So right off the bat, I'm like, A, who the fuck is Heidi Lee Morgan? Never even heard of her. B, she just killed Alundra Blaze in this promo. So I'm already more interested in her. And C, then we get the highlights. So they play some clips from this match with a bunch of really like rough looking spots.
Yeah.
There's like a silly little slap and it's like, oh my God. It's like, how could you do that? And it's like back and forth bullshit. And we end the highlight package here with Blaze hitting a bridging suplex and winning the belt and therefore the tournament. Just such a... It seems like such a grab. Like, please, look, we even have female wrestling. Look at how progressive we are. Please love us. Look at Alundra Blaze, how cool she is and the cool moves she does. And mind you, the whole time throughout the whole highlight package, you just hear guys in the crowd wolf whistling and being like, woo woo, and like sexy. Like, we don't care about the moves. We just know that it's two girls in there.
Right.
So it was just, it was such a surface deep like thing that they were trying to promote, but it's just not accepted. It's still not, we're still a ways off. A big ways off in America for female wrestling.
Yeah, I think I was reading The Observer around this time, and Meltzer was saying that it's going to take a substantial amount of time to reprogram the audience to not cheer for like the TNA aspect, to respect it for in-ring, which is funny because 5 years from 93, it gets a million times worse in terms of TNA.
Yes.
And then it takes 20 years from that before people respect it.
If not longer.
Right.
Well, you got to think of it too, Bob. So it's 93. Even in 97, it's even worse, like you said. Yeah. So it's almost like they were making it a trial thing here. Like, okay, let's see how they react now. It's been a couple of years since they've seen female wrestling on our programming anyway. And they got the reaction they got, and they were like, well, fuck that. Let's go the other way. Because that's what they're used to.
Yeah.
So it's a shame because obviously Alundra Blaze has some sort of skill, maybe not on the microphone, but in the ring, you know. Yeah. She is respected in Japan with the females over there. But it's just the highlights they showed, first of all, were horrible and like cringeworthy.
See, I don't know if I agree with that. There were some moments where it was like, wow, that's pretty fucking bad. But then there was a couple of moves like Heidi Lee Morgan diving to the floor, taking out Blaze. I was like, oh wow, all right, that looks pretty good. I would say the bad outweighed the good, but there was some promising spots there.
For me, the bad sank it. Like the few bad things in there sank it. Right. Because like I said, the slap in the beginning, it's so bad. Like the girl, I want to say it's Alundra Blaze gets slapped and it's like, oh my gosh, like I said. And then
that sounds like something that she would do.
It was we're not there yet. We're not ready.
Well, another thing too is like growing up, you know, Alundra Blaze would be on various pay-per-views throughout the years, and we'll get to them over time here. But for a while, like I never realized that she was Medusa.
Yeah, you've said that before. Yep.
Yeah, and to see her like actually wrestling and doing a pretty good job with it.
Yeah.
Because like in WCW, I feel like she didn't really do that. She was just a manager.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird, but I also want to point out that the footage here is not from Memphis. I remember saying before that they're going to have like a fictional thing, a fictional tournament, and like they'd show footage from Memphis or something. It was not Memphis. It was in like Hershey, PA or something.
Yeah, it was like
whatever.
the one match that they showed the highlights from.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see Alundra Blaze, I guess, if she competes on Raw or anything. There's like nobody in the women's division aside from her and Luna, and I guess Heidi Lee Morgan if she's around.
Well, we'll see what happens. I feel like Heidi Lee Morgan's going to be a one-off. Like that's the feeling I got from it. But if they bring in like different talents from different places, who knows? Like it might end up being kind of cool. Like you have Alundra Blaze, who's like the constant, and then a little bit of a revolving door, like she's going to challenge this person this week, and then almost like the old NWA days.
She's a female Hogan.
Well, female Flair.
Yeah, that's probably a better comparison.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we can hope for the best.
Yeah.
A vignette promoting the debut of Kwang.
Oh my God.
Kwang is a masked martial arts wrestler. Literally the entire video is just him doing martial arts like taunts, and then the camera focuses on his eyes.
It looked like a little chubby black guy in a Muda outfit.
Like somebody's Halloween costume.
Oh my God. And like the little karate, and he's like,
yeah.
And it's, oh my God, this shit's so fucking corny.
Do you know who Kwang is?
I do know who Kwang is.
Who is Kwang?
That would be Savio Vega.
It is.
Yes.
Caribbean Fire.
Yes. He looked very dark though. He definitely had a tan for this.
Yeah. We get a WWF Royal Rumble video game ad, and we get our main event. The WWF Intercontinental Champion, Razor Ramon, taking on Derek Domino. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. We all know what's going to happen here. Ramon, a few chops in the corner, tossing Domino out of the corner. Ramon lays Domino over the top turnbuckle before kicking him and hitting a fallaway slam. He then hits a middle rope back suplex, signals for the end, and he wins the match with the Razor's Edge.
Another gem in here from Jacques. He goes, oh, Domino made me a promise backstage. And Vince goes, oh, yeah? What was that? And Jacques goes, oh, he said he'd deliver Razor in 30 minutes or less. So that one popped me. I was a fan of that. Razor, with his like shaky last call off the second rope, was a little weird. Almost like he was struggling a little bit. But he definitely was laying it in. He's, tying the guy up in his abdominal stretch. He's laying in the strikes. So I think Razor didn't really get hurt by this enhancement match necessarily. I mean, it wasn't great. But he was definitely proving why he's in the spot he's in, I think.
Yeah, he's I don't know. I mean, I was bored. But I was bored by most of the squash matches on the show.
Yeah, they were. They were very, very lackluster this week for the majority, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next week it's different. They give us a rundown for what we'll be seeing, and of course it's the Smoking Guns against Bam Bam Bigelow and Bastion Booger. Jeff Jarrett will be in singles action, and the WWF World Champion Yokozuna will also be in singles action. And it's revealed that Johnny Polo will join McMahon on commentary. So what do you got for your final thoughts on the final episode of 1993?
It wasn't a bad week of Raw, all things considered. Definitely towards the bottom of the list. Again, Polo in the ring, which looked much better than Jeff Jarrett did last week during his debut. His and Marty's match was pretty decent. Weirdly enough, I did enjoy Jacques on commentary. I thought he was surprisingly a good addition to the booth with Vince, because I was expecting the whole time a couple of things. A, we were going to get French probably 50% of the broadcast, just to get heat. B, that he would be pretty much exclusively talking about the Quebecers, which he really didn't. And C, if he was on commentary, he would make it like all about him. So it was nice that he kind of played it pretty straight for a heel wrestler commentator. His points and some of the jokes, whether he pulled them off his head or they were written for him, he delivered them pretty well. Like, again, I pointed out a couple of gems throughout the show. So I don't know. I was very surprised by the end of the broadcast how much I kind of enjoyed Jacques on commentary here this week.
Yeah, Jacques did pretty well. Pierre didn't really say much of anything. Was he even? I don't even know if he was there. After
he was only there for maybe half because the ref threw him out after the polo interference.
Right.
The ref threw him out of the arena or whatever.
Right. So that probably makes sense then. They probably knew that Jacques would be better in that role anyway. Yeah. Skippable show. There's nothing really going on here. I'm dreading next week's episode if the feature matches the Guns against Bam Bam and Booger.
I know. Yeah.
But they all can't be winners, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you what, Razor remains a major draw in my mind. I think it's a little obvious what they're going to do with Brett and Owen at this point. Because, again, as we touched on, it's all a little sudden. They just love each other again. No explanation, nothing. I don't buy it, but as far as where that's going, I'm still interested because something's going to happen either way. They're either going to walk out the new champs or Owen's going to pull some shit at the big show. So,
yeah. What would you think? Would you think the Hearts would be winning the tag titles or there's going to be some fuckery going on?
At this point, I'd be willing to bet my apartment rent on the fact that Owen is going to pull a stunt. But from like the fans' perspective, I think it would be awesome that in 1994 we're starting the year with Owen and Brett as champions. That would be really cool. I don't foresee it happening though.
Yeah. I don't either. So, all right. Well, this is the last episode of 1993.
Crazy.
So you know what that means.
I can't believe we've made it this far.
I know. Maybe we should just call it quits now.
Yep, that's it.
Just wrap it up. It's fucking over.
Yep.
Did it for a year. Done.
Suck it. No, I know what that means, Bob. It means the end of the year awards. And let me tell you,
brother.
Let me tell you, I went back to our mid-year awards while I was watching this show, and you'll be surprised to hear that a lot of my categories have changed as far as who I picked.
Did you document what we both said? Because I did not go back and listen to what I said.
I did not document what you had said, but that's because I keep my notes and I double checked my notes.
Interesting.
So yes, I know for sure some of mine have changed. I'm sure, Bob, some of yours have changed as well. So we'll see what happens here.
All right. So I sent you how many categories? 7.
I added a couple, so I have 2.
Well, you have to let me know so I can do this.
8, 10 total.
So what are the ones that you have?
So you probably have manager at the bottom of yours.
Yeah, towards the bottom. Yeah.
Right. So I also include most improved.
Right, I have that.
I include biggest disappointment.
Okay, that's a good one
for 1993. And I included my top 5 favorite guys from the year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I'll write down that stuff too, real quick, as we go on. So I guess should we start with the most important one and then work our way down, or kind of go?
We'll work our way down. All right. I think we're gonna have more to talk about as we go down the list.
Yeah, probably. Wrestler of the Year, 1993. What you got?
So from my perspective, because again, mid-match, I had Bret Hart. At this point, I'm putting Razor in that spot.
For end of the year?
Yeah, for 1993, I'm putting Razor in that spot.
Really?
Yep. I think Razor has had a hell of a 1993 because you got to think in the beginning, started on top. Really, at the end, he's pretty close to the top. So I feel like he's been one of those guys who stayed relatively consistent to where a guy like Brett's been up and down and Luger's been up and down and Tatanka and just all these different guys have had such a seesaw year. Razor, I feel like for the most part, has been in a major angle, a featured attraction, and at least been in a title picture, if not holding a championship. So I switched my pick to Razor. I feel like Brett, the second half of the year, has kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I don't think we see enough of him. And again, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Jerry Lawler feuds, So I swung my vote. I put it in there for Razor. From the fans' perspective, I did do Bret Hart.
Well, that's disappointing. I went with Bret Hart.
Yeah.
He's my guy for the entire year. Starting off as world champion. Matches with Ramon, Fatu, Yokozuna, Doink, Lawler. Just a bunch of fucking guys. Blake Beverly. Just classics among classics. The Lawler stuff was great. The whole summer. Ramon had a good year, but like a wrestler of the year, like I don't think so. I don't think I can get behind that.
Yeah.
But,
a lot of memorable stuff.
Yeah, that's for sure memorable, but is it on the same level of what Brett did? In
ring, probably not. Yeah. In ring, probably not, because Brett also had a hell of a King of the Ring too.
Right.
Where Razor, I think, lost in one of the first.
He lost to Brett in the first round.
Yeah, first round. So I don't know. I think from an angle point of view and just character wise and like the natural progression of Razor Ramon, I had to give it to him.
All right. Well, what about most popular for 1993?
So from my perspective, I did have Brett. I think that he's easily landslide the most popular guy on the roster, has been all year. Anytime he comes out, it's a huge pop. Fans love to see him. They even love to hear from him, even though at this point he's still not the greatest promo guy. They love to see their Bret Hart. I had in fans' perspective as well, most popular Bret Hart. And I think he's pretty hard to argue. I'm not really sure who would even come close, because the other faces of the year, maybe Tatanka, he gets pretty good pops, but he's still not even close.
The only person that would be close to Brett is Savage.
That's true. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Yeah, that's the only one. If he was presented more regularly, I would maybe put Savage in that spot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Brett is, I think, got that one locked down as well.
I agree.
Most hated for 1993.
From my perspective, Crush. I didn't like Crush as a face. I didn't like Crush as a heel. I don't like any moves he does. I don't like his promos. There's literally nothing that I can think of that I enjoy about Crush or have all year. Fans' point of view, I put Yoko. I think they hate him a little bit more than Crush.
Well, for I guess my perspective, the person I hate the most is Johnny fucking Polo. That guy just drives me nuts. I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
And for the fan perspective, I don't think Yokozuna is like horribly hated.
No.
I'm gonna go.
Borga?
No, I'm putting Lawler.
Oh, yeah, I think
with everything with Brett and all that stuff, that he's super annoying. I can see fans being like, "Fuck Jerry Lawler."
Yeah, well, me in this case.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair pick.
Yeah, for feud of the year.
This was so tough, dude. So tough. Because originally mid-year awards, I had 1, 2, 3 Kid Razor.
Right.
However, I think it's pretty hard to argue that Crush and Savage didn't have the feud of the year. It ended up being pretty fucking intense, and like, I want to see what happens anytime they even bring this feud up. I want to know what's going on. So that's what I picked. I picked for the year Crush and Savage. I think the fans would probably pick Lex and Yoko just for the length and the heat. Even still, if they were to have a match like on Raw, it would have a big, I think, tune in. Like, hey, you got to see this. What's going to happen? But yeah, my pick was Crush Savage.
I think I'm going to say from a fan perspective, I think they would go Kid Ramone. I think they would stick to that.
Really?
Yeah, and just because I would, because there's two things. I think if you were to ask somebody, hey, what do you remember of 1993?
Yeah.
There's going to be two top things: the slam on the Intrepid
Yeah.
and Kid pinning Ramone.
Yep.
And I think that the Kid Ramone has had longer legs than what Luger and Yoko did.
Yeah.
Personally, but for me, my pick for feud of the year in terms of my entertainment, what I like the most is Lawler and Bret Hart.
I knew it. I
can't get away from the start at King of the Ring, and then through SummerSlam. I mean, that was some good stuff. I really enjoyed it.
I think you enjoy that most because it definitely feels like it's based in reality.
Yeah.
Like that's not just two fucking over the top cartoon characters fighting about their hat getting repossessed.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like two guys who might legit hate each other and like might legit say insults back and forth to each other. So I could see how you would pick that.
Yeah. Kind of has like a Memphis vibe to it too.
For me, like the Crush Savage stuff was must see. Like you can't miss anything.
See,
you don't know what's gonna happen.
Right. I think that's true up to Survivor Series. Like when Savage be tossing fucking Vince McMahon around and all that other bullshit.
Yeah.
But since after Survivor Series,
it's cooled off huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I mean, and if they're not scheduled for a match at the Rumble, so are we to assume that it's just a house show feud, or are they going to go all the way to WrestleMania 10? There's no way you can maintain that level of excitement or interest to March.
Especially with the effort that they've putting in, or the lack thereof, since Survivor Series. Because I don't even know the last time we saw Randy Savage. I want to say it was like a stupid enhancement match that meant nothing.
The last time we saw him was when we fought Fatu.
Was it? Oh, I'm thinking of something else then. Well, regardless.
Yeah. All right. Match of the year. What do you got for match of the year for 1993?
I stuck to it since the mid-match, or since the I keep doing that. Since the mid-year awards, I kept with Brett and Fatu on Raw, man.
You did.
I did. I think the fans would probably pick Perfect Flair from the way beginning.
Oh, see, I don't think they would. I think they would go Perfect Heart at King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Because
that's more fresh in their minds, yeah.
Right. But like if you would make a post right now on a wrestling forum and you'd be like, what's your favorite match of 1993 WWF?
Yeah.
It's almost like all of it is overwhelmingly, Perfect Brett. It's better than SummerSlam 91. And which it's not. And then it's like, it's a great match. Or it's like Shawn and Jannetty.
Really?
Yeah. Those are usually the go-to.
Shawn Jannetty where?
Shawn Jannetty, I think the first one.
Royal Rumble?
No, the May.
I was gonna say, there's no fucking way.
No, not Rumble.
Yeah.
But from the May 17th.
That's a fair pick. I don't know. Like the Brett Perfect one, it's like the same thing.
I know. That's why for me,
You've seen that already.
Right. That's why I wouldn't pick that one. I think for sure fans would go and say Brett and Perfect. Yeah. I am saying, and I probably have changed this. I probably should have listened to the mid-year one to see what the fuck I said, but taste change. I'm gonna go Kid Ramone.
Dude, I was gonna pick it. I really was, but I didn't want to pick it strictly for the moment. And that's what I feel like I would have done.
Well, yeah, but I think that's pretty important. It's match of the year because one, it is entertaining. Two, right. Like a little guy hitting a moonsault off the top rope onto a big guy and winning it. Like that's never seen.
Yeah.
And then it catapulted 1-2-3 Kid's career.
Oh, it made him.
Yeah. So, and then it led into Ramon turning face.
Right.
2 months later, or whatever. So for me, that'd be my match of the year. I think my match of the year originally for the mid-year point was Brett Fatu. I'm pretty sure I said that.
Probably. I
But
really
I'm switching it to Kid Ramon.
I really struggled back and forth between Kid Ramon, Brett Fatu. I think I ended up just going Brett Fatu strictly for the more quality, like mat-wise, like wrestling-wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, you literally can't argue that match between 1-2-3 Kid and Razor. You could probably say was the most important one of 1993.
I'm telling you, it's a defining moment. It's for the whole year.
It's no question. No doubt about it.
The top 3 moments, I think, for 93 are Luger on the Intrepid.
Yeah.
Perfect retiring Flair.
Yeah.
And this is not any certain order, but 1-2-3 Kid pinning Ramon.
Yeah.
Those are your top 3 memorable moments.
Yeah, it's hard to argue.
And then the young wonder Carlos Colon entering the Royal Rumble. That's like number 4.
Of course, yes.
And then Virgil hitting like an incredibly dangerous suicide dive to the floor onto Adam Bomb or whoever it was.
And
that's up there.
Hogan swimming with stinky mermaids.
Right. Yeah. With the hooker mermaids or whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, 93 has been great. Manager of the year.
I had the fans maybe for Bearer. Okay, I didn't know really who to pick for that. I picked just for the fact that you're going to be so pissed off. Just for the fact that he's been able to kind of stay in the spotlight and manage guys who are in big angles, I put Polo.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I put Polo. Wow. It was between Polo and Luna for me.
What the fuck?
So I just went Polo. I really didn't know. Yeah, I really didn't know who to pick for this.
You're absolutely deranged. Yeah, obviously, I think the fans would for sure go Bear. I mean, right. Makes sense. I'm going to say maybe a tie for this one, but Cornette and Fuji. Leaning more towards Cornette.
Okay.
Just because his involvement with Yokozuna, Heavenly Bodies, stuff like that. Johnny Polo, absolutely not. Luna Vachon, absolutely not. They haven't done anything for their dudes. Like, this is ridiculous.
I didn't know who to pick.
Yeah. Most improved. 1983. Who do you got?
I had Owen Hart.
Oh, that's a good one.
Beginning of the year, you got to think Coco Beware, right? High energy. Does anybody give a shit? Not really. End of 93, this motherfucker is in the spotlight. He's having 4-star matches with jabronis on Raw. It's amazing to see where Owen has kind of come out of nowhere. I think even in the booking point of view, like, holy shit, where's Owen Hart been? Because this motherfucker is good. So I picked Owen. I think the fans might pick maybe 1-2-3 Kid, going from an enhancement guy to, again, another main player on the show. I don't know. I think Owen, though, Owen's got him beat. Look to where he came from, and then look where he ended up for 93.
Yeah, Owen's actually a really good pick there. I'm going to say the fans might say a guy like Tatanka.
Most improved?
Yeah. Because I think he did. I think he has improved in the ring compared to like 92 and stuff. So not because he's my boy. I'm not saying that. But
think of it this way, Bob. Remember in the beginning, and then I just put over Tatanka like 2 weeks ago.
I know, hell froze over.
Yeah, having a decent match.
Right. I'm going to say Razor Ramon.
Oh, okay.
Most improved throughout the year.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy couldn't bend his leg to do a knee lift at the Royal Rumble against Bret Hart, but he is he's definitely developed into a pretty solid hand, I think, in the ring.
And yeah, not only in ring wise, but his character is so much down packed more. Like, I feel like at this point, Razor knows who Razor is.
Yeah.
To whereas maybe the beginning of 93, he was still maybe trying to figure that out. Not as much confidence. Now his swagger just on the way to the ring, dude. It's like this guy
has it.
he's a fucking top tier fucking star.
He 100% is. It's funny you mention that because if you watch Ramon in late '92, it's a prime example of like this guy's got potential.
Yeah.
To do something big.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come across like, oh, he's really into it. Like you can see that he like likes the character and he wants to do it, but it's not like natural yet. But then throughout '93, I would say shortly after King of the Ring is when he really got into his groove.
Yep.
And it's been really good since then for him.
I agree.
Biggest disappointment for 1993.
Though it pains me, it really, really pains me. I have to put Doink. Doink broke my heart in 1993. The character. You start out so high and so much potential. I said way back, I wanted Doink as my fucking WWF champion.
Yeah, you did. Like the second or third episode or something.
Yeah, and just like we talked about after Survivor Series, I don't even recognize the character anymore. Like I have no connection, no interest. It's just such like a deflating thing to think about because again, I loved Doink. I loved what Matt Bourne was doing. He was solid in the ring, having really good matches with Perfect, Bret Hart, all these guys. And then you come to he hits a German suplex and lets Dink get himself over. And it's not even Matt Bourne. He barely does half the wrestling moves. And at this point is a really, really bad joke.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's not only a disappointment, it's a heartbreaker because that was a character that I saw so much potential in, so much room to grow and become either something more dark and sinister or serious wrestling wise. I really think that the character, though it's a clown, they could have done so much more with, and instead they went the obvious route and played up the ridiculousness of it and kind of lost him in the shuffle. Like I don't care at this point. Doink is on the same level for me as like a Kamala or a Bastion Booger or like all these guys that just don't matter. They don't matter.
Yeah, Doink's a really good one. I mean, I was actually getting frustrated as you were talking about him. That's how much I hate him now.
It sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah. My disappointment is Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, man, for sure.
I think fans would say to an extent for disappointment is Lex Luger.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not winning the world title and all that stuff. So, but Bigelow, I mean, you go into it, you're thinking, no, this guy's gonna have. He could be a quick like top heel, like maybe like the second one right below Yoko.
Yeah,
and nothing.
And the whole thing with Bigelow too is think about it. So if
He's
you think about
fucking Doink, like what the fuck?
Yeah, and then think about Doink. So you can chalk up the excuse of, okay, Matt Bourne was on his way out. They had to switch the guy, whatever. If you think about Bigelow, there's literally no rational explanation why he didn't accomplish anything. Like, what is the reason? There isn't one. He was terribly booked all year since arriving and just wasted for no reason. No reason.
Yeah.
That's another great one. That's a great one, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, it's a major disappointment.
Huge.
So you said you did a top 5. Who are your top 5?
I did a top 5. Yep. I got my favorite guys, maybe not necessarily for say in ring or whatever or character.
Yeah, that's what I put. That's what I was thinking when I made my 5.
Yeah. So my top 5 is definitely Adam Bomb.
Okay.
Still a big Adam Bomb fan. Razor. Bret Hart. Marty Jannetty, which I would have never thought would have been on my list at this point. And Owen Hart. Those were my top 5 for the year.
Interesting. My top 5: Bret Hart, Scott Steiner,
Oh,
Randy Savage,
yeah,
Adam Bomb, and yo, bro, Virgil.
No way.
Yeah, dude. Every time that I see Virgil is on Raw, I get super stoked because I just want to see what the fuck is he going to do.
Yeah.
Ever since he started doing fucking springboard dives or whatever the fuck he's doing.
Fighting. What the fuck?
I'm just like, I need to know. So I think moving forward, if he's on syndication, even if he's losing, I might throw you the match and be like, we gotta watch it.
That's pretty funny. I think those are some fair picks. Steiner's a really good one.
Just because I love seeing the screwdriver and him just breaking people's necks. It's great.
I know. I don't know though, man. For me, I ended up with a really big soft spot for some of these guys. Again,
the Jannetty one surprised me.
Artie Jannetty. Like, where the fuck did that come from? And I'm telling you, every time I saw him on the card, whether he was phoning it in or not, I was interested. I was like, all right, this is probably going to be a decent match.
Exactly. Because when you see Jannetty, you're thinking, all right, he can carry somebody.
Right. Yeah. Right. So that's kind of where I was at with it. Steiner's a really good one. I can't believe I overlooked him. That is a good one.
You didn't say Yoko.
I almost did. I fell off.
Or IRS.
Yeah. Although compared to the 5 I listed, man.
No, I know, but there was a point. I think mid-year you would be like, IRS is a top 5.
Oh yeah, probably for sure. For sure. It sucks that Yoko's not in it, but WWF made me not put him in it.
Right.
That's their fault. Because I was a Yoko guy for the first 4 months of 1993. I was all about Yokozuna. And as soon as WrestleMania hit, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, we're done. So it sucks, but he definitely would have been one of them. IRS probably would have been one of them if, I hadn't gotten such an attachment to Marty Jannetty and guys like Adam Bomb. Another one kind of came out of nowhere, whereas before, dude, if you would have asked me about Adam Bomb, I would have laughed at you and said, like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
But again, just going back through the year, watching stuff I've never seen, rewatching moments that I might have seen a couple of times, it's totally changed my perspective about 1993 and a lot of guys that were involved in the year. So it's really interesting from my fandom point of view to kind of see this end of the year awards play out the way it has, because even like for a feud with Crush and Savage, like before watching anything, I wouldn't have put that. There's countless things on these lists that just are funny to me personally, because again, I didn't know and I didn't care to know. But going through, it's just a different appreciation for it.
Yeah, that's what deep dives will do for you.
Right.
When you watch the syndication, you watch every single episode of Raw, you'll see what you appreciate and what you maybe didn't realize before. That's what's going on with me in Memphis. Like, I'm a huge Austin Idol fan now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have been that 5 years ago.
Right. Right. And when I think about it too, like our buddy Dallas, who we just had on a bonus episode.
Hogan 98 money.
Exactly. Similarly to the way he was watching WCW's event is how I may have watched a WWF 1993 match. I think as fans we're preconditioned to, hey, the Attitude Era was really good. Anything before that sucks.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't go out of your way to formulate your own opinion, that's just your wrestling opinion. Like, you're not going to change it. And that's where I was at before we started this. When Bob mentioned doing 1993, I was kind of hemming and hawing because I wasn't sure I'd stay dedicated to it. Like, do I really care enough to do this? Right. And putting my previous notions aside, giving it a chance, like I said, has totally changed my perception of the year in WWF.
So with that said, what are you looking forward to? I know we've mentioned it, I think, a few times, but what are you looking forward to as we head into 1994? What's the expectations? Who are you pushing? What do you think? Where are you going?
There's a couple things I am looking forward to. Number one, I know that we're going to get a big influx of new faces,
Yes.
which I think should be pretty interesting, whether for the better or worse. We'll see. I'm looking forward to Owen Hart in 1994. I'm looking forward to Shawn Michaels in 1994. There's even Luger. Like, where's Luger going to end up in 1994? I think there's a lot of unanswered questions that are going to carry over, which is nice. And hopefully we'll be trimming the fat a little bit too, as far as guys like maybe we won't see as much as the Damian Dementos of the world and the Max Moons and the ridiculousness. But at the same time, I know we're going to get some trash. So I don't know. I don't think it'll be as much of a mixed bag as 1993 was, or as like a transitional year as 1993 was. But at the same time, we're still kind of in the infancy of really good 90s wrestling. So it's exciting that I don't really know what to expect fully. I'm still going to be surprised. There's still plenty in 1994 that I haven't seen, especially for Raws. I would say probably most of them. So it's still going to be all pretty fresh, and that's what I'm looking forward to as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to 94 just because I think it's one of the most consistent in-ring years.
Yeah.
Especially pay-per-view wise.
Sure.
Some really strong stuff on there. But even TV, aside from next week's potentially brutal show.
Spoiler.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot for 94 to be excited about. I mean, you got, like you said, Owen. What does Jeff Jarrett do?
Right. Yeah, a guy like Jeff Jarrett, absolutely.
Yeah, Adam Bomb. Does he finally break out?
Right.
Who knows? There's a bunch. And then, like you said, you got a whole bunch of new faces coming in. That should be interesting.
Sparky Plug.
Quang. Couple people return too. I know that.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe we'll get some familiar faces.
Yeah. I'm pumped. I'm excited about it. 93, like we've said, is a transition year. 94 is the year to either impress us or maybe we'll hang up the boots. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Anybody who's listening to this, if you guys want to send along your year-end awards for 1993, you can send them over to us on Facebook at IcoPod or IcoPodcast@gmail.com. And, over the next couple of weeks or so, we can round those up and then we'll reveal them on here. I figure we just share ours first and maybe that will spark more discussion. Maybe I won't even read your shit on the air. I don't care. You're the one listening to me. I'm not listening to you.
That's right. We've tried listening to you guys once and we got our ass kicked for it.
Yeah, never forget. I still have to edit that.
Royal Albert Hall, motherfucker.
Yeah, because that's tentatively going to be coming out sometimes around Valentine's Day, because that's our gift to you on Valentine's Day. Yeah. You broke our hearts. We're going to break your hearts.
Damn right.
Fucking assholes. Pissing me off. Okay, well, for Austin Skinner, I am Bob Conley Jr. He's engaged. I'm single. And you have been listening to IcoPod.
We'll see you in 1994. Bitches.